Just in time.
Yes, indeed. Can you hear me?
You're just in time.
All
You're
right.
just in
Let me
time.
get this headset going. Let me get it on my
Let me
Bluetooth.
turn my volume up here as well.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes. I hear you loud and
All right,
clear.
great.
Good to see you again.
Hey, you too. How's it
Good to
going?
see you. It's going good. All right. So I want you to bring your body forward to the camera like how and not sit back. Yeah. Okay. Gotta
Right.
have you in there. We gotta have you in the frame.
I'm in there. I'm in
All
there.
right. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. This is Ororo's Book Tribe. And so we have a special guest today, and this is an extension of Still Learning, Still Developing. Our special guest today for Father's Day is Mr. Terrell Word. He's coming from Texas, and he is a physical fitness trainer. So today, his session will be titled Fit to Father, and we're going to ask
That's
him
right.
some questions, and we're going to let him speak and tell his side of the story of growing into fatherhood as a young man. Because you guys, Terrell is a great father, and he's an active father. Terrell,
Thank you.
earlier today on the show, we had another man that he was talking about how he didn't have a relationship with his father at all, so he had just a lot of healing to do altogether.
Uh,
So with you, we're going to go through with someone who kind of knew the way, and just tell us your experience in fatherhood.
so fatherhood for me, I would say, started with having my dad in my life the whole time. He's still around. He's a 23-year military vet, so that tells you I grew up with a very firm and stern background, and my upbringing was do it the right way one time, don't keep doing the wrong way over and over. So he kind of laid the foundation for me to be the type of man that I am, which I'm a go-getter, I'm a hard worker, I'm reliable and dependable. And that is something that I try to instill in my kids, and I try to help them understand why I am the way that I am, and try to help build better people, because that's what you do when you reproduce. You want to make them, help them become even better than you. And that's my goal as a dad. Make sure my kids are better than I've ever been.
Right, and you're also really active with your children, physically
Absolutely.
active. I think it's important to
Absolutely.
stay in shape. I have something here.
Coaching. That's right.
Tell us about that.
So I coached youth football total of about 10 years between my time in Texas and Louisiana. I've done youth basketball and a little bit of youth track, but mostly football has been my focus. Former football player, track runner, stuff like that. So it's a passion of mine. I love football, which is something that you probably know. I'm a
Hmm.
Saints fan, which represents the black and gold in the picture. And that was one of my youth football teams. That was me having a moment with my quarterback. And I don't know how much you guys watch football or what have you, but the relationship between the head coach and the quarterback is really important, because in a youth football situation, every player on that team is like your own child. So you have to kind of handle things as such, and you develop that relationship like you're their dad as well. You kind of step in when they're between the chalk. That's your kid, and you want the best for them, and you want to teach them the best. And that's kind of what's going on in that picture. I'm just giving them a little go get him guy, and put him back out there to do his thing.
Okay, I like that. That is another way, I guess, that men receive early on mentorship, extended mentorship outside of the home.
Yes,
So
I
for
agree.
so there are different programs such as, like you said, football, basketball, things that you can get young men. Well, what would you recommend that people programs that parents should place their children in to make sure that they still have male guidance?
I definitely recommend sports to start off, and simply because sports taught me a lot. It taught me about leadership, and not everybody's going to be at the forefront to lead. Some people silently lead. It helps you learn about being able to be a part of a team and rally around each other, and build brotherhood and togetherness. In the in the situation where there's female players and what have you, that togetherness. For some kids, I think football is a great look, simply because it helps them release certain things that are within them. For some young men, they need to be able to get that out, that wildness that's in them. They need to be able to get that out. And it's a controlled environment. If you got great coaches, it's safe. There's some kids who just don't have the mental makeup or disposition to be football players because it is a contact sport. Maybe basketball is better at baseball. I do I do recognize that organized sports in general is probably a great way to go for all kids because there's so much to learn. Not every kid's going to stick with it, but it puts in it's like a building block to help them become better people because they learn a lot of different lessons from being within the sport.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up because when you're talking about the ability to work with a flexible team, you guys, Terrell and I used to work together, and Terrell, so Terrell, we have a lot of things going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, and so what is your, we don't want the sisters to get left out. All right.
Of course.
And I was thinking about men working with, strong sisters. And who better person to be able to speak on that than Terrell Word? Because, honey, you have seen some things, not just me, but it was a lot of sisters in there. So as a man, being in position where you are surrounded. Okay, so the players on the team aren't giant men anymore. There's these Bigfoot women all around. So how do you maneuver? How do you maneuver with that without, I guess making the wrong moves? And how can you make the right moves?
That's a great question. So the concept of how to navigate that situation doesn't change because there's women involved. As long as you start with respect, professional courtesy, and things of that nature, typically you find your way through. So even when you have bad days, and not really bad days, just days of conflict where conflict's a little high, you could get through them because you have professional courtesy and respect for each other. Now, specifically working with women, especially in the environment we worked in, it was mostly women. And then there was a lot of Black women in there with strong personalities and backgrounds, and they believed in who they were. So they weren't going to take a short or a loss because it was a man sitting next to them. So for me, I always found that for you guys, yourself, and some of the other young ladies working there, it was always important to me to try and hear where you were coming from. And if we had disagreements, that was okay. But I still wanted you to know that you had a voice to be able to say that, even if I disagreed. If we both saw a project and we had our own approach, I never wanted you to hesitate and think about, well, maybe he's not going to like if I say this, or maybe the guys are going to shut me down. I always wanted you all to be bold. And I actually admired that about you and another coworker of ours, Angel. You guys were very strong in being able to step forth and bring your ideas. And you didn't worry about if people liked it. You put yourself out there, and that's how you achieve success. That's what makes you both successful women, because you're willing to put yourself out there and say, hey, I'm valuable and I'm going to bring something great to the table, whether you like it or not.
Hey, man, I do miss Angel. She was she was great at photography. That was another thing about people there. I noticed that, I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like people were mismatched with where they could have been successfully within the house. Okay, one person there over here, and I'm like, I think you should be a photographer. Or I think maybe this person should have been a writer. Or, So, all right. Okay, so let's talk about your fitness journey and what you have going on now with Total Fitness. You've been into fitness for some time, though.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so you transferred into that. I think, you know what? Because you have small children, I think it is important for men, like I said, to be active with their children, but to be physically fit. You have to be physically fit to be active. You have to have that energy, because you would get off of work and then make sure that you went to your son's game and you left. I'm talking about you all. I would go in the bathroom thinking that Terrell is like, lights by, the door is closed. So he is not one of those that puts his career before his children. And I really admire that about you.
Thank you.
You do not do that. So tell us about that, because I guess, I put a lot of time into the career, right? And then the kids are just, they're around, and then they pick up some things on the side. But we don't want to get to the point where they're by the wayside. So how did you get you're successful, but at the same time you're able to lock it in. You have a good
So
balance.
that's probably the toughest thing, and I think you can ask 100 men, and we're all going to come up with pretty much the same answer. That's probably the toughest thing out here, especially when you're self-employed or you're starting a business or something like that. And
Mhm.
it's because you have to dedicate so much time to see the success of the business that you have to try and account for what your family and your kids' needs are. And as far as being a dad, like you said, on game days, it doesn't matter. You could get me till 6, 7 o'clock on a regular day, but on Tuesday and Thursday when baby boy got a game, I'm out of here. If my daughter had a rehearsal, not a rehearsal, but a recital for band, I'm out of there. You know what I mean? You're not going to keep me. There's an award ceremony. I'm taking my lunch early so I can be there. And you just have to carve out those moments where you can without sacrificing one or the other. Now, depending on who you ask and what day of the week, some people may not feel like I'm juggling it that well all the time. There's sometimes when you're in your prime, and there's sometimes where you're kind of underwater, but you have to just try to level it out and get your way back above water. And I think for every man out there, they can relate to the struggle of making sure that you're a great provider, but also being accountable for the livelihood of your family as in terms of wellness. And that's kind of when you tie it to fitness. I'm big into wellness. To me, wellness isn't just being able to wake up and your knees don't crack or you can go run 2 miles nonstop. Wellness to me is mental wellness first. My clients that come on to me immediately, and when I say immediately, the first thing I do is talk to them about where they are mentally. I need to make sure you're mentally fit to start my program because if you're not there in the head, your body's never going to respond the way that you want it to. And you're going to waste your money and you're going to waste my time. And we don't want that. So tying it back to fatherhood, you also, the same way I manage my clients like that, I have to manage my personal life and try to make decisions about what's going to be beneficial for my kids. Maybe what I'm doing is not going to help them. Becoming self-employed has allowed me to have more time to be available to them. But then on the back end of that, sometimes you just don't have enough hours in the day. So you have to try and create time when you realize you're not spending enough time with them.
That's really good. That's really good. That's insightful and that is helpful. Okay, so now you did talk about your father,
Hmm.
and I guess you can see a lot of your father's character traits in you. What is your son's interpretation of you that you've picked up from him? Do you see a lot of your character in him?
Not really. I would say that he's more like my wife. They just have a better intuition, and that's something that just that's genetics working 100%. He picked that up from her. He could just pick up things like he could feel it. I think for me, he's still learning. You for men, you can see when your son is watching you do certain stuff, so you have to be careful what you're doing. My son's
Mhm.
16. He's about 6 foot now, so he's watched me
No,
be
wait a minute
dedicated.
now.
Yes, yes, he's tall.
Oh,
So he's working out, and I think that the physical fitness and the dedication to you need to put in work to reach your goals. I think that's set in with some help from his older brother as well. We kind of help foster that. If you want something, you have to work for it. So he's definitely doing that. A perfect example is at the end of the school year. COVID-19 was a big thing, so kids couldn't go back, and they were homeschooling. Well, he got majority of his work. They sent it out to them like in a bundle, and then they were like, basically, you need to be done by this date. If I'm not mistaken, this kid finished like 2 weeks early. I was so
wow.
proud of that. And he didn't just rush through it. He had some of his best grades of the semester in that
Mm,
last semester working from home. You know how dedicated you have to be to get great grades doing homeschooling or
mhm.
online classes? And he knocked it out of the park. So I'm super proud of that kid. So I would like to believe that that hard work and effort to go for what you want is something that I instilled in him, but I don't want to take all of the credit.
Right. Well, I know the hard work and dedication is. You have to be ambitious and have ambitious children. How about, okay, now you're a father, so you have your son
Hmm.
raising a daughter because you have a girl. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes. So,
yes. Man, so it's kind of like extreme. So raising a daughter, it's different. And I tell people this all the time. They say when you fall for stuff, they call you a sucker. And I've been a lollipop since she was born.
Oh.
She gets the best of me. And what's funny is, as far as personality traits, there's a lot more of me in her, and that's cool, But she's a lot like me. You've worked with me, so I could be a smart aleck. I could be a know-it-all at times.
Mm-hmm.
I could be all those things. But on the flip side, if you need information, if you need somebody reliable as a source and things like that, she's like that. She's a lot like me in that way. And she's picked up a lot of great traits from her mom too. So it's important that, like I said, I can't take all the credit for them because it's been a collective thing with us getting them to be the young adults they are. My daughter's 14, so my baby's 14. Think about that.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
so this is a young woman, and I'm recognizing that there's a certain position that I'm going to need to play over the next several years that's going to form a lot of her adult life. So I'm
Yes.
still figuring that part out, as most men do. This is my only girl, so I'm still figuring that out. But I want to make sure that I present a great representation of what she should look for when she starts to seek out a man to be in her life at some point. I want to be that great example where she could say, well, my dad set the standard here. So either you go here or you can't even get in the game.
Right, right. I was the my former guest was saying the same thing because I was telling him I was raised basically by my oldest brother and my
Hmm.
my grandfather and my uncles. So basically filled in the gaps, like I was saying before, because my father was ill as I was growing up. So they
Yes.
overcompensated and they built a lot of tenacity and ambition in me to protect me and gate me from anybody being able to get in and get over on me just because of my situation or for me to
Right.
become a statistic. So I was always wondering, are my standards to it, and like,
No.
no, they're not. The men in my life have set the standard. And I was even telling a young man that I was dealing with, if you're not helping me support my business, we can't do
Right.
this. Right. This is not,
Right.
you're not about to just sit around and look up in my face. What do you think this is?
Right. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You have to take
Yeah.
them to task. And that's
Hmm.
what I want. That's what I want in her. I want her to recognize her value is going to be above and beyond what they expected. So they might want to, whistle and holler, oh, she's pretty and this and that. But when they get up close, that's when they're going to recognize and go, oh, wow, I need to be serious. And it's
Right.
going to help. It's going to help the weaker men stay away from her. So she
Mm.
may get less attention, but the attention she does receive is going to be from people of higher value. And that's important too. There's a reason that everybody goes to McDonald's and less people go to Boston Market. We're talking quality here. So when your
Hmm.
quality is higher, your audience is smaller.
That is so true. That is so true. That's true all around the board. When you
Right.
got that is a word, we're gonna use that as a quote. When your quality is higher, your audience is smaller. Okay, this is not McDonald's. This is not the McDonald's drive-through. Okay, so listen, since this is Aurora's book tribe, I want you to tell us a couple of your favorite books.
Oh man. So unfortunately, the only books I've really been indulging in lately are physical fitness, because
Okay.
you have the PT and stuff like that. But I'm with the NASM, the National Academy of Sports Medicine. So I've read a lot of the books, and you can get a lot of those free online. So I'm going to
Mm.
recommend, if you're interested in just information about wellness for your body and just what you can do if you have an illness and you just want to get better without having to go pay a trainer or something like that. Look into the NASM stuff. There's a lot of free tools online that you could try. Now, back in the day when I was a more avid reader, I read a lot of sports books. Sports books. There's a football coach named Charlie Weiss. He coached
Mm.
at Notre Dame, but he shared a lot of life lessons, Catholic upbringing, stuff like that. That was a
Mm.
really good book. But like I said, recently it's mostly just been physical fitness and sports because I always want to stay at the forefront of what's going on in my industry. And right now, that's PT and wellness.
Okay. And right here I have your Instagram, so you all can follow Terrell in his journey on at T's Corner 23. Make sure you
Right.
all get that while you're looking at this. You can screenshot it, and then you can go ahead and follow him on his Instagram so you can see the journey and what he's putting out there. Also, his website where you can go on there. I think you have some kind of program going on right now. Do you?
I do. I do.
Okay.
I have a 14-day challenge available. It's always ongoing, but it's 14 days. It's 2 weeks. I could get you to drop 10 pounds if you do my program specific. It'll get that 10 pounds off you probably in about a week, but I usually give you the 2 weeks because there's a ramp up period. But I designed it myself. It's got weighted and non-weighted, aka body weight exercises on there, so you don't even need a gym. If you don't have a gym, it's just you just need some space. Create
Mm.
some space, create a space in your home, and just get in there and just do the work. And if you stick to my program for 2 weeks, you're going to drop between 7 and 10 pounds easily. Also, I have a Instagram specific to the fitness because I share fitness tips on there as well, and it's just Total Camo Fitness on Instagram. So it's the same thing as the website, Total Camo Fitness everywhere. And I built that website, by the way. I don't know if you noticed the design, but
Oh,
that's my
okay, you
handiwork.
guys. Terrell, when I say can build a website, I mean, I used to be in there. I was annoying all up until the website was done because I'm like, Terrell, is it done yet? Terrell? And when it's done, child, I'll be sitting there about to cry. Those websites are so good. He is so
Thank
talented.
you.
He has a lot of instinct with it. And I build websites, but I have learned a lot from Terrell. So this is where it comes from, y'all, right here. So yes, okay. Let's talk about his fitness program. I'm going to take a look at it
Okay.
because we all know during COVID-19, some of us have turned into some butterballs out here. We have.
It's
So we
true.
need to get it together. We need to get it together. A
Yep.
lot of you on here that are watching, especially my audience, you guys are actresses or you want to be out here doing something like this where you're presenting yourself on video. You have to take care of yourself. This is
True.
work. Just like he doesn't just get up and do stuff. I don't just get up and get on here. I have to get up early in the morning, do some kinds of workout, do skin regimens. People don't just get up and roll on outside. Remember,
Right.
quality, quality. And you want to
That's
be able to
important.
put your best foot forward in anything. But I do notice that I think smarter and faster. I'm healthy and I feel better when I'm working out. It doesn't feel good
Yeah.
the first 2 days physically, but after a while
Right.
you reap the benefits and your look changes. If you go back to the first time that I was doing this in my live feeds here, my face is changing. So
Hmm.
I needed to speed up a little bit more. So I'm going to take a look at this program. You said it's a 14-day.
14 days, 2 weeks, and there's rest days included. There's a little bit of nutrition tips. I'm not a certified nutritionist. I am certified as a nutrition coach, but not a nutritionist. And there's a difference. But so I give tips and advice on, managing your meals, but I don't do like full meal plans. I just kind of guide you and tell you, hey, that's good to eat. That's not. But I'm not going to tell you how to grocery shop and stuff like that. But it's in the program, and like I said, it's got body weight stuff. It's got weighted stuff. So if you like to pick up a little iron and throw some heavy stuff around, I've got something for that. But then I've also got something for people that are a little bit hesitant or afraid of weights, and I get that too. They don't want to bulk up. You're not gonna don't worry about bulking up. But if you don't want to lift weights, I got stuff for you, and it's over a 2 week period. And then I also did a COVID four-part body reconstruction thing. It's 4 videos on there. That's in my members area, which I'm actually about to release for free now that
Mm,
people are starting to go back to work. So I'm going to put that out for free, and I'm developing a new 7-day challenge that's going to be included with a giveaway. I got some merch I want to give away, some T-shirts and some socks and some stuff like that. So I'm going to create a program, launch a program that's going to do the 7 days. It's like a little weight loss challenge. I can get 5 pounds off you in about 5 or 6 days.
okay, we need that. We need those 5 pounds gone, don't we? Don't we, folks?
Right.
Oh, I have a quick question before we go. Do you recommend
Okay.
that people join your program together with a battle buddy or with a friend, or is it best that they do it on their own? Because something.
So that's a loaded question, but I'm gonna simplify my answer.
Mhm.
Some people are better approaching alone. I'm gonna use my clients as an example. I have one client who does not like tandem workouts. She likes one-on-one with me where I can focus on her, and she doesn't need anybody else. When she posts on social media, she doesn't really like the feedback or whatever because she's like, I just want to focus on the goals that you set for me and me and you working on those goals, and that's it. So she blocks out all the noise. On the other side, I have clients that are like, well, how much is it if I bring a friend? because they just want that personal motivation to go with them. So to me, I think it depends on the person. If you're into teamwork and rallying around each other and having a battle buddy, then yes, sign up with a friend. But if you know that you're just a deep down determined person who is just, you just dig deep and do it for yourself, do it all alone and at least try it on your own and see how that works out.
Okay, wonderful. We'll definitely check that out, you guys. The information is right down here below, www.totalcamofitness.com. Make sure you check it out. This is live right now, but if you come back for the pre-recording, I'm going to have Terrell's commercial at the end of this video, so you can check that out. And you can also check it out on my page, Priscilla Mack. And my website is www.priscillamack.com. So this information will be uploaded on there as well this week. So make sure you go there so that you can get everything that you need. All right. And happy Father's Day. You see how people are, Terrell, we wait till the last minute to say happy Father's Day.
It's all good. I appreciate it either way. It's an everyday thing, you know, but I definitely appreciate the recognition. I appreciate you having me as a guest as well, and looking forward to sharing this interview with my followers, and also make sure they pick up what you're doing. And I'm happy to see that you're still fighting a good fight and putting out great content.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Terrell. Thank you for being a guest. Happy Father's Day. I know your family is just going to love on you tomorrow. Okay. Eat well. Are you going to eat healthy, or are you going to have a good time?
I'm going to eat well.
All right. Well. Okay. Eat well. Okay, Terrell. Have a great day.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.